Before you start decorating your Christmas tree, avoid that. Don't do that at all, ever. Not even at Christmas, just ever, year round.
I'm interrupting this message with a no shoulder shimmy holiday greeting. Drew is never allowed to touch my tree, so why would I ask him for tips? I'm very particular about who touches my tips. What? Anyway, this is gonna be how I style a tree. All the tricks that you've wondered about. If you've noticed your tree doesn't look like the ones in magazines, well, here's how you can get it to look that way. It's all about the layering. It's all about the little tricks to make it an easy install, but something that looks fabulous. So, if you're ready, let's get our ho-ho on. First, test all the lights and just make sure what's pre-wired is actually working. Sometimes there can be a disconnection somewhere in the tree. You want to find that before you put a bunch of stuff on the tree. The second most important thing is the tips. Make sure all of the tips are spread out. You don't have any bald spots. Sometimes when it's packed away in a bag, the tips get crushed. You want to pull all those out and fluff them out so it looks more full and more natural. And not all tips are created equal. The molded tips that look the most realistic are usually a little bit more stiff. So if a tree had all molded tips, it would be very, very expensive. So what they do is they have a trick. They put in other tips. You'll see the difference here between these. This looks more realistic. This one looks fake. But when you blend them all together, you can't even tell, and it gives you more fullness in the tree. So understand how many tips your tree has. The more tips, the better quality, the more realistic looking, and typically the more expensive. Or is it a blend of tips? And maybe that's how they're getting the fullness without the extra cost. So that's the first thing I do. I go around and I just make sure that everything looks like it's nicely spread out, that there's nothing mashed in. And then when we start to spread our ornaments, it also makes it a lot easier for the distribution because everything's already fluffed. You gotta have a little holiday fluff. You'll notice as well, there are so many colors that you can get for your trees. You can go crazy and get a pink tree. You can also get a pre-flocked tree, a green tree that has that flocking on it to make it look like it's dusted with snow. Or you can actually get a white tree or a silver metallic tree. I personally feel the most beautiful trees are the ones that look like a natural tree. Anything in an artificial tree you can do that best replicates a real tree is gonna be successful. I always go for a green tree and then I will add anything that I wanna add to dust it or change the color. With your tree fluffed up, the next step are the lights. I actually love having different types of lights doing different things, and I'll have them do a soft chase, something like that, maybe with color. It all of a sudden feels magical. You're gonna wanna get your lights totally taken care of before you do anything else because the goal is to hide a lot of the cords. It looks so pretty when you have some lights that are buried in tinsel, some lights that are forward. It just gives it a much more dynamic feel. I believe in random. You want everything to just randomly be spread out throughout the tree. You also should keep stepping back and taking a peek and making sure that you don't have unintentional patterns. Too many lights clustered in one area and then it's too bare in another area. That's not gonna look good when you're done. Let's talk about what we're gonna put on the tree. You can do anything you want. Some people like to decorate with just balls. Some people like to decorate with just tinsel. There really are no rules. It's whatever looks beautiful to you, whatever makes your family happy. I'm specifically choosing a colorful aesthetic for the tree, and I want something that still is a nod to the classic elegance of ribbon. So you'll see we've got ribbon, we've got bows, we've got poinsettias, and all kinds of clusters of interesting things. Nothing is more of a pain than figuring out how to wrap ribbon around your whole tree without making it just look flat. So what I like to do is I like to take ribbon and cut it into smaller sections, and then you just create a loop and you push the loop into the tree. And I always love to start at the bottom of the tree and work my way up to the top. One of the things you're gonna wanna make sure you have when you get to hang your ornaments, for whatever reason, a lot of retailers these days do not include the hooks. So make sure that you have extras of these. They're very cheap. I can also use paper clips, or sometimes I'll even just use wire and string. Everything on the tree should be there to stay. I do love to also incorporate color. Of course, nothing says holiday like poinsettias. So I have a few different poinsettias. I have some large ones, I have some smaller ones. You can mix it up a little bit. Tuck them in wherever it feels appropriate. Initially, don't go too heavy on any one individual item. You want it to look, again, random. You want it to look balanced, and you don't want everything to be samey. Also, bows, so easy. Just wire a couple bows onto the tree and it looks really, really cute. A lot of the kits that you buy these days, they have all the ornaments, they have some of the other stuff that you might want to put in, and it's themed. So you know that the color palette is going to work on your tree. That's great. Just know that quite often one of those boxes is not enough to do a standard size tree. Sometimes you need to get 2 or 3 of them in order to cover everything. With your traditional garland, you can cut it into lengths, and same thing, just tuck it into the tree. I love seeing the branch tips poking out. I never used to do it that way, but when I learned that trick, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes life so much easier. Another thing that I learned is a lot of these sprays that you can buy are really, really expensive. And you don't want to have something like this that you just stick into one place in the tree and then that's all you get out of it. So I'll usually buy these and I'll cut them open so that all of a sudden now I have a whole bunch of individual little picks that I can put into the tree. By the way, we talked about flocking earlier. This is what flocking looks like. So it just looks like it's snow dusted. You can buy that in cans and you can just spray your own tree. Or if you don't want your whole tree flocked, because sometimes I feel like that's a bit too much, this is a great way to do it. We've got this guy. This has got a little bit of glitter on it. Drew would lose his mind because Drew has a no glitter in the house policy.
No glitter in the house.
No glitter in the house.
I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty good in the tree. So don't be afraid of glitter, Drew. I don't know if glitter cut you off in traffic or something. You need to get over it. In fact, I'm gonna lean into the glitter and I'm gonna put in some of these. This is the topper. Instead of a traditional star, you can do a star, but you can also create your own very cool arrangement and then finish it off with a bow. So if you're okay with it, I'm just gonna start putting some stuff up on the tree. You wanna spread them out. You don't wanna have everything all clustered together. And then you'll start to identify, okay, well, here's a space here that needs something. I don't really have a ribbon close to that, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a ribbon. We're making a little loop. We're finding a spot for it and we're tucking it in. And then you can kind of shape it a little. It shouldn't be too flat. You see, everything should just be kind of like naturally tucked in here and it looks really good. As I'm putting in the little bits of garland, there's no rhyme nor reason. You're just taking a piece and you're filling a void. I don't ever like to see the ends of anything. So when you're putting stuff into the tree, you don't want to have an end like that sticking out. You always want to have just a nice rounded surface facing out. We want everything to be tucked inside the tree. You just see the beautiful curves. You don't see the ends. Now here's an example. If you step back, you're like, wait, this is in the same direction as that and it doesn't look great. So we want to mix it up. So I'm going to move this ribbon over here. And then over here is probably a good place for me to put a little bit more of that. And I need something more full here. Keep stepping back and saying, what are we missing? What can we add? You see here. I guess about right here. You can see a lot of wires and stuff in here. We need something a little thicker to cover that. Oh, you may not have one of these, but it makes tree decorating so much easier. It's a rotating coffee table. I think we're gonna do this guy right here. It takes time. There's no rush. Just take your time. Keep putting things on, and if you see anything that you don't like, guess what? Like this one actually right now, it's sticking out a bit too far for me. Either I want it to settle back in, that's better, or take it off and swap it for something smaller. I do generally like to have more of my ribbon and garland in before I put the ornaments on. These should be the last things that go on. Let's talk about why I'm so particular about who touches my tree. I'm not a Christmassy controlling kind of guy, but I mean, I kind of am. This is where we now go, and we go to the end where the tree is already ready to go. Because this is a more substantial weighted piece, we want to make sure that it's secured and it's not going to fall down. So once I get a good seat, I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to wrap my wire around underneath the ribbon so you don't see it, because you never want to really see the wire. Another trick too, if you have a really tall tree, we actually wire it to the crown molding on the side so that it doesn't tip over, because we've had that happen where a kid or an animal jumps on the tree and the whole thing comes crashing down. The most exciting part for me is, watch, there we go. We started with our pre-lit artificial tree. We fluffed out all the branches. We then added the extra lights. We then started to layer in the ribbon, followed by the garland, followed by all of the sprays and picks and balls and decorations. And now we have this beautiful tree. If you like tinsel, and I like tinsel, the very last step would be to tastefully just throw tinsel all the way around. You don't want to clump it into one area because that doesn't look good, but that's usually the last thing we'll do. And if we're having like a holiday party or you know, something like that. We'll usually save a bunch of the tinsel to do right before the party because quite often it tends to cling on to anyone who walks by it. So we'll do the tinsel last, and then you will have a tree that looks so beautiful and so joyous this holiday season that everybody will have a smile on their face. Somebody taught me about the hide the pickle tradition. Do you know what this is? I thought it sounded crazy, but it is so fun because now every year we hide a pickle in the tree and the kids have to find it. It's an artificial pickle, not a real one, you weirdos. I hope this inspires you to do something special and unique with your tree. At the end of the day, everything over the holidays is about family and spending time with the ones you love.
Glitter in the beard, no!
And bringing joy to as many people as you possibly can. I'm gonna warn you though, if you start using color on your tree, you'll become obsessed, and every year it gets a little more colorful until it looks like this. We are obsessed with our tree, and everything we do is for the kids, and they love it so much. There is another video if you want to see all about how we created this tree with Glitterville, then go check out that video. Make sure you subscribe. Also, hit me up in the comments. Tell me the stuff that you love to do. What are your traditions? I can't wait to see what you come up with in your home. Drew, I apologize that I don't let you touch my trees, but go practice your shoulder shimmy elsewhere. If you promise to take off that terrible sweater, I'll let you come join me in the decorating next year.